Essendon captain Zach Merrett meets with Hawthorn, fueling the growing belief he wants out of the Bombers. His coach Brad Scott is live at the desk.
The Crows seek to make amends after blowing the advantages of the minor premiership. It's a scenario John Longmire has lived.
And riding the wave of momentum through a September campaign, can the Suns turn one great win into a run?
We've talked about is step into it, embrace all of it.
Get in the room and fix it.
It's unedifying for a senior coach to do that.
Err on the side of caution with the brain. Take the man off.
They played the best footy I've ever seen at the start of the season. And if you'd said Brisbane lift the cup, I would have said, of course they do.
It's the stuff that legends are made of.
What is holding the ball? I don't think I could answer it clearly right now.
I could do something wrong, and I need to go. And the board sacks me.
The fans love it, and with no fans, no 360, right?
I thought Wednesday might have been the lull, Gaz, given we don't play till Friday night, but it has been no such thing.
No, interesting times that we live in. I can't wait for Brad Scott to come in and sit down. I think there'll be a whole host of footy people, and Essendon supporters especially, that will be watching on with interest.
Yeah, emotions have been pretty raw throughout the day.
No
Let's just start down the highway where what should have been the most innocuous of training sessions, given Geelong had the week off, reached a flashpoint when Bailey Smith confronted News Corp photographer Alison Wind, who had taken that image of Smith getting treatment before training in full view at the open part of the session. Smith twice confronted, swore and demanded that Wind delete those images, believing it was an invasion of his personal space.
It's really disappointing. It's unacceptable, it's not good enough, and it shouldn't be indulged. You can't have it both ways, Bailey. That's what we've got to here. You ask for understanding, you bravely bare your soul, and then you undo all your good work by belittling a photographer who's just trying to do his job, or her job in this instance. So just be better, Bailey. Be a better man than that. I think the footy world has tried to understand and accept that no one's perfect and you've got your shortcomings, as we all have. But there's been way, way better players than you, mate, that have had to put up with more than that and have been able to do it with a degree of class. So we respect you. Pay it back. Pay it back. That's just not on.
I suspect he has a difficult relationship with the paparazzi side of things, which not many footballers have to do. That's not what this is. This is the football environment. It's a safe environment. It's a shared environment, and there needs to be that respect going both ways.
Missed the mark badly, and I'll wait to see. Geelong have got a fantastic record of handling these things, but we need to hear from them and we need to hear from him.
All right, here's what we've got lined up for you tonight. Brad Scott is about to join us. Adam Simpson and John Longmire, our favourite pairing, who have lived a lot of the scenarios of this semi-final week. And Jock Landale is in town ahead of returning for the NBA preparations. His Magpies don't play, so his timing's not exactly perfect, but he's going to come and join us at the desk. After us, it's a big news night, midweek tackle. So Lauren's got Corbin and John Ralph in place. Tomorrow night is the in-depth look at the semi-finals, first crack preview. So a special Thursday night edition, Ben Dixon, David King and Lee Montagna. And that takes us to the game coverage.
Then we turn our attention to Adelaide Oval. Will be outstanding. So full contingent travelling over there. It's going to be outstanding. We're going to see what happens with an Adelaide Crows side. They've had a week to contemplate what finals footy's about, up against Sam Mitchell and a pretty angry and hungry Hawthorn team. Outstanding. We'll fly home on Saturday. You'll keep going. Head up to the Gabba. All eyes on the Q Clash. So the Brisbane Lions take on the Pink Suns. What about that team there? Sarah Jones heading it up, and Dunstall and Matthews and King and Brown. Whoa, that's locked and loaded. So we've got you covered.
Dwayne might have his merch on sale at the ground. You never know.
Pipe will be up. You'll be reading chapters from his book out on the concourse. Fox Footy covering finals outstanding over the first round, and it's going to be great again.
All right, 4 teams to choose from. Who is a D-Day for thanks to Aussie Broadband?
Crows for me. I'm going straight to the top of the table, Crows. They flunked. They got an F. I mean, that's okay. It's how you respond to the F. It's not terminal at this stage. They are one of 6 teams still who can win this 2025 premiership, and they wouldn't have felt like it at the end of the game last week. But that's right. They're back on the Adelaide Oval, and they get a chance at redemption. They come up against a really hungry, aggressive Hawthorn side, and they've got to match them. If they don't match them, they'll get bundled aside again. I've got a feeling, and I just got a bit of a feeling, that they can do something, the Crows, after a really disappointing first-up effort, which leaves you with one game to do.
Yes, so I'll take the Brisbane Lions. Is this going to be the end of the premiership defence? They have They have toiled away stoically under all manner of adversity. They have been Burnborough, but every now and then 62.5 kilos will break the back. So is that the moment that we've reached with the Brisbane Lions? There's a bit of a contradiction here. They are, in a way, they're the ageing champs. They're actually the youngest still here. So there's 8 under 22 and they had 3 of the 4 teenagers who played in the first week of the finals. They're in the Lions side. So it feels like two things are true at once. What we've admired is their heart right throughout the year. And every time they've had a performance like that, they have been able to rebound. You don't need additional motivation at this time of year. They are playing for their premiership chances. They have the crosstown rival who they have kept under wraps for their whole existence. Are they going to be able to do it again?
They don't want to hand up their title to these upstarts from the Gold Coast. John O'Brien has been massive on the fact that they have responded to the Brisbane Lions every time they've been challenged this year, and he's confident they can go it again. Let's see, because I think they're going to be cheeky. I think they're not going away, the pink team.
No, it'll be a hell of a good game. Both of them will be. All right, let's get to the top of the agenda. Zack Merritt's future has now reached flashpoint. No sooner had Essendon's board resolved under no circumstances to trade its captain than it was revealed that Merritt had met with bitter rival Hawthorn yesterday. Brad Scott about to join us. Zach, the broader conversation around you, which has been had in the industry at the moment, where we casually move players wherever we feel they should go, is go and be happy somewhere else. Are you aware of that conversation?
Yeah, I don't live under a rock. I'm certainly aware of that.
So they've had to sell the vision to Zack Merrett, who's been mentioned again. 12 months earlier, they had to sit down with him and say, Zack, you're our captain, please stay, we're going to come well. They've had to do it again.
Zack Merritt, the Essendon captain, met with Hawthorn on Tuesday night as he explores a way out of the club.
You've been linked to Zack Merritt. Any truth to that? I'm not sure. You have to talk to the list management guys about that. But, I mean, I hope that they are working behind the scenes on improving our list. That's what their job is, and I hope they're going about that. Improving our list is what every club's doing.
I work with Tim Watson, one of the all-time greats. Couldn't even contemplate losing Zack Merritt.
He has now got the power to close it all down once and for all.
If I'm Zack, I'd say move. Because if you thought about it this often for this long and you feel like it's not going to happen, well, then you've got to have the strength of your convictions. You've got to move.
I just can't believe in a world where they can let their best player, captain, go.
Classy stuff from the skipper.
Are you just absolutely unequivocally putting that to bed and saying that's just made up, that stuff?
Yeah, I'm all in. I'm contracted for 2 more years. I'm the captain of the footy club.
I want you to stay.
I've got so much trust in Brad and what he's doing, and I really want to see that through. It's a bit longer than I probably would hopefully have liked when I signed 4 years ago, but I think it's pretty clear now that these kids are coming through and I want to taste that ultimate success with the footy club.
This has played out at this desk at various stages this year, and so it is tonight. Brad Scott, welcome.
Thanks, Jared. Thanks, Gary.
Were you blindsided by Zach's meeting with Hawthorn?
Yeah, that was a surprise to me. I mean, I speak to Zack daily. He was over at my house a couple of days ago having dinner, so I'm well aware of Zach's position in terms of, you know, he's, as it's in the run in there, he talked about our young talent, and he's very excited about the young talent on our list and has got full confidence in them. But, you know, he's as hungry for success as any player that I've ever encountered. And, you know, he's a man in a rush. He's 29. You know, he's concerned that will the young talent mature enough in time for him to enjoy that success. But the reality is that this time last year, we, you know, recommitted to Zack. We felt he was underpaid for someone who was performing at such a high level. So for the second time in 3 years, we changed his remuneration to reflect his brilliant performance and his terrific leadership. So we committed to him, you know, he committed to us, and like our CEO who moved into state committed to the club, I came and made a commitment to the club. I intend to see my commitment through, and I expect our captain to do the same.
Has he cheated on you in a footy sense, taking that meeting yesterday?
Look, I think we've all got to accept that the old school, you know, the old timers, Gary, we probably have a problem with it. And, you know, this is the second club captain Sam Mitchell's met with in 1 year. The difference is our club captain is contracted for another 2 years. So I think you've got to accept that players are going to do this, and now coaches are doing it. But I think that the reality is that Zach's a process-driven guy. He's got a checklist. He'll go through his process, and he likes to come to his own conclusions. So in a way, this is Zach just doing his due diligence. But it feels like we've done our due diligence, 2 out of the last 3 years, and we have a really clear vision. It's been a really challenging year for a number of reasons, but we've all made a commitment. And the thing about a commitment is that the reward at the end of it is not guaranteed. But the thing I've learned about success is that it's fantastic when you get it, but it's the journey and the effort and the blood, sweat and tears that you put in to the process to get the success that's the reward, not the outcome. It's not the premiership medal or the winning finals. It's the work that you put in with other people, the commitment you make to people. That's the reward. The outcome is just reward for the effort.
If he comes to you and says he doesn't believe in your vision anymore and he wants to go and chase it elsewhere, will you entertain trading him?
Well, the reality is it's his vision as well. I mean, he's invested in our club and he's been kept right up to speed with the vision, and it's been a challenging year. I mean, we started the year at 6-4. I mean, we had even challenges at that stage, but then the injury crisis has been well documented throughout the year. So, but again, I can't stress enough that, I love this bloke. Like, I think he's an incredible player. I've rarely seen anyone like him, and our own playing group almost make fun of me for constantly, referring to Zach and his on-field deeds. And his will to win is unbelievable. And if he does have a chink in his armour, it's that will to win and that desperation for success. He sometimes wears his heart on his sleeve and he shows that frustration. But if that's the biggest chink that he's got, it's not the worst one.
But if he says he wants out, will you hold him against his will?
No, well, our club, he's contracted captain. So our club's position is that we will not be trading him under any circumstances.
Can he still be a captain if he requests a trade? Can he still lead your football club, share your vision? I'm watching you. You feel and look like you're really, personally hurt by this?
Well, it's not about me personally. It's about our club. I feel like I talk to our supporters, I talk to our members, and at the end of all of those conversations, I say the same thing to all of our supporters. I say, stick with us. And almost to a man or woman, they say, through thick and thin, I'm rusted on. They've been through some really difficult times, and the real carrot for me to come to Essendon was to see this through. So, it has been a challenge, but again, I understand Zach. I love Zach, and he's just so desperate for success that he wears his heart on his sleeve and he goes through these moments. But our club's position is he's our captain. He's contracted for 2 years. We've adjusted his contract to reflect his performance, and we expect him to see it through.
It does.
Can he be captain, though?
The compromise
Of course he can be captain, because the thing about no one's perfect, and I talk about there are a lot of players that I think are geniuses, but there are a lot of flawed geniuses too. No one's perfect, and I don't think anyone's captaincy is perfect. Anyone's coaching ability is perfect. It's a learning process, and so of course he can be captain. But will it be a challenge based on this situation? Absolutely, it will be. But I've seen him overcome bigger challenges than this.
I'm going to push you on it, because effectively you could be holding him against his will. You're going to say, no, you're staying, you're contracted. So the cut and dry, black and white, you're holding the player against his will. I've got to say, I'm finding it hard for him then to be a leader of your footy club.
Yeah, I don't see it that way. He made a commitment. Players and a lot of agents are running at the moment with just sign long-term contracts, and if you want to move, we'll move you. Well, that's not the world I live in. The world I live in is you make a commitment and you see it through.
Are you disappointed that it's got to this in him? I know you love him. You say you love him, the players say you love him to the point where it's embarrassing, yet he still is exploring. Does that disappoint you?
Yeah, well, I know it's probably it's not a great analogy, because, your family's your family, but, your players are they feel like surrogate family, and in a way, I treat them like I treat my kids, and my kids make mistakes all the time. I'm still their father, and I'm still his coach, and my job is to lead the club, and to have Zach by my side helping us through this difficult time is really important.
Is what Sam Mitchell's doing fair, reasonable?
Oh well,
has it angered you?
Well, I think the world's changing. You know, there'd be a time and a place in which I'd be, you know, pretty disappointed. But the reality is now the gloves are off and all's fair in love and war, and that's the path they want to go down. Then, you know, we'll play at that game too.
So have you spoken to Zach today?
Not today, but I spoke to him yesterday. I speak to him almost every day.
So, but in the aftermath of this, is the implication is he's made a mistake. But what if he doesn't see it that way? When you talk to him next, what if he said, "I'm eyes wide open here, and I'm done. I've got no energy left for it, Brad"?
The board's position is that he's our contracted captain. He made a commitment, and I support that position.
Your relationship with your senior players, so you know, if Brad wants out, if Draper wants to change, if Ridley wants out, is that in question now? Do you sit there and look at that or not?
No, for a start, I mean, my relationship with Zach is very good. So, you know, and he's spoken publicly to that. So, regardless of what happens, that will never change. Draper, I think, is a completely different situation. For a start, he's an uncontracted free agent who, over the last 10 years, has had an ACL, a PCL, chronic groin hip problems, now a ruptured Achilles. You know, he's you know, never played more than 15 games in any single season. I don't think we can begrudge him for being mentally and physically exhausted and feeling like he needs, in his words, a fresh start. And so the fact that he's waited until September to make a decision that he was so torn to make talks to that it wasn't easy, that he didn't just want out. He was, as I said, mentally and physically exhausted and in a difficult spot, and he's made a decision that the competition now supports in terms of free agency.
And Ridley and Laverde and those players?
Yeah, Ridley, a lot of players I was excited to coach when I came to Essendon. Jordan was one of those. Unfortunately, I haven't had the opportunity to do that. I mean, not only has he not played, he hasn't trained. So, you know, we have made significant changes to our high-performance team. The appointment of Matt Innes is a coup for us. You know, as someone that we hold in extremely high regard. You know, we've made another appointment in our high-performance area, so we've revamped that space. And again, I would expect someone of Jordan Ridley's talent and capability to be frustrated with the last couple of years. But again, we went back, felt he was under-remunerated for the level of capability and talent that he has, and we recontracted him for another 4 years. So we made the commitment to him, and he'll be seeing out his 4 years with us.
How significantly has the list strategy changed from, so you took the job in September 2022 to where we sit here now?
I think it always changes and evolves. I mean, there's always a plan. Every club's got a plan, but it changes based on, you know, acquisitions, players who go, players who are in form, all of those things. But I think I have a bias to want to build, and you know, our position in the draft this year reflects that. You know, we've got, at this stage, 4 picks inside 25. So, you know, our position is that we're already, I think, you know, one of the youngest and most inexperienced lists in the competition, which again speaks to Zach. He loves the talent, but is it going to get there quickly enough for him? And I think that's a valid question for him. You know, but you know, the simple answer is, Jared, it hasn't changed that much. It's evolved a little bit, but clearly we need to keep investing in elite talent. And the only way you can, or the easiest way to bring in elite talent is through the draft, and that's what we're targeting.
So you're going to be closer to ground zero in year 4, though, than you would have forecast, aren't you? Like, this is the moment of gathering the elite talent out of the draft, and that's a long road to hoe.
Yeah, and it's a very difficult road too. You know, but again, I was under no illusion as to the challenge that this job presented, and I've never been more up for it. And if you look at this year's been really difficult with injuries, but the silver lining to the injuries has been the exposure of young players that are going to be very good players for Essendon for a long period of time. So yes, it'll be a challenge for us, but you know, we started the year 6 and 4. I've got enormous faith in the players on our list, and you know, we'll keep investing and building it. And as I said at the start, the thing about success is it's it's the effort you put into it and that reward for effort that gives you the satisfaction, not just the outcome.
Is there any part of this that can turbocharge? You want to build, you go back to the draft, decisions that you make here can give you an even bigger hand in this draft.
Yeah, I mean, again, that these things are whole of club decisions. But, Zach aside, Jordan's contracted. He will not be traded under any circumstances. But, I mean, the reality is Sam's exercised his free agency rights, so there'll be compensation for that. So, yeah, it certainly does add to what's already 4 picks inside 25.
Do you, the Essendon faithful, they'd all be watching and listening. So what is the overwhelming message or underlying message you want to leave them with tonight? They would still be sitting here going, I know it, I love that you fronted up and I love that you're answering the questions, but the bottom line is the question mark remains over Zack Merrett, clearly our best player.
Yeah, and I think that the reasons for Zach going through this process is that he's so hungry for success, and his question is, will this elite young talent mature in time for him to be part of it? But that leading's difficult. Coaching's difficult. Being a captain and accepting that responsibility is difficult. But the thing that I've observed at Essendon, and our club's been through some really difficult times, they keep fronting up, they're frustrated, bordering on angry, but they stick with us. And, I think it's other clubs are jealous of Essendon supporters because what they've been through, other clubs might capitulate. Our club will still be here in another 150 years. And they'll stick with us and they'll see through the vision, and we'll go through some short-term difficulties, but it'll make it all worthwhile in the end.
Do you need Zach to state publicly and to look you in the eye and say, I'll be with you come October?
Yeah, well, I think this will play out all in time. I mean, I'd also add that Zack Merritt was exhausted by the end of the year. I mean, he broke his hand, could have easily said there's no point coming back. He played under duress. He is, in so many ways, such an incredible on-field leader. He needs a break. He needs a rest, and I don't begrudge him spending some time with his family and letting me do the talking at the moment.
Brad, we appreciate you fronting up.
Yep.
Great.
On you, mate.
Thanks.
Essendon coach Brad Scott with us on a tumultuous night for the footy club. Our pairing, our favourite pairing, about to join us. They know a lot about this time of year. Adam Simpson and John Longmire with the dynamics of semi-final weekends and what they learnt watching the first week of finals.
Nice.
I don't know whether this is boasting or roasting, and I honestly don't know who's responsible for it other than nobody has stepped forward.
But it's not me.
When we get to semi-final weekend, there is one performance that stands above all others. It was the day our future Hall of Famer Gary Lyons saw off Stephen Crediot, Matthew Croft, Keenan Reynolds and the fearsome Danny Southern. And by the time his work was done, he'd kicked 10 goals and the D's were on their way to a preliminary final. It lives eternal. It lives immortal.
This is what I say to this. I'm applauding Longmire and Simpson. That's a stitch-up that they both executed beautifully, and it's taken them the best part of an AFL season to work out how it works, but I dipped my lid to both of you, and guess what? It's coming back.
Simo, welcome.
Good evening, guys.
Horse, hello.
G'day, guys. Yeah, unfortunately, we were a bit slow on the edits this afternoon. I was calling Simo and said, listen, what's happening there? And he said, well, the big fella, Big Gaz, has taken over the edits week. So it took a bit of time to get there, but fair enough. I mean, the last player to kick 10 goals at a final, G. Lyon.
Well played, both of you. Too good.
Brad Scott's just been here. You've both watched and absorbed the day at Essendon. That is an invidious position to be in, Simo.
It is, and I mean, it's the second time we've seen a captain go through it this year, but with different circumstances. So it just looks impatient to me. From the outside, I don't know anything that's going on, but it's like he's in a rush. And for a 29-year-old, he's probably got 5 or 6 years left. So, it's not going to be next year. So the success he craves, if he wants it tomorrow, it's not at Essendon. But if it's in the long term and he sees those second, third year players coming through, then there's more opportunity. But yeah, it's not a fun day. Is it
retrievable, Horse? Can you come back from here?
You wouldn't know unless you're inside, Gaz, inside the 4 walls. I mean, my first thought was, how did this get out? That was my sort of first thought was, you can imagine from Essendon's point of view, they certainly were caught blindsided by it. So how did it get out? And the only way you can do it and assess the situation is what it feels like inside the four walls. Personally, I wouldn't be trading him, but I'm not inside the four walls.
So do you think it's sustainable to hold a player like that against his will?
Well, I mean, we've had players over the journey ask for trades, and it's not a comfortable thing. It's an awkward thing, and you need to work your way through it, and you need to be honest with everything, and all parties need to be honest. But I don't think it's beyond repair, and I think these things do happen in life, and the best way to get about it is to sit down at some point in time, the right point in time, and have a chat about it.
Can you still be captain after all of this?
I think so. I feel like the relationship is still solid.
Can you still be captain?
Well, it depends on Zach and how he responds. If he accepts it, but it's unique, isn't it? I mean, Oscar Allen was different. He's out of contract. He's got to kick some ties. You know, he's got to do the right thing. This is a little bit different. So I think everything's, you can save everything. Yeah, and the relationship doesn't look like, you know, he's packed his bags and left, he's not coming back.
Yeah, I guess that, again, Horse is right. We don't know exactly how it works out. I find it a long way back.
It is new, though, isn't it?
Yeah,
the captain's normally, you know, part of, if I sign on, I'm on for life.
Yeah, and you turn them back around at the start of pre-season, standing in front of the group saying, righto, let's get to work, and they're going, righto, but you don't really want to be here.
The one little caveat is he's just so desperate for success, which I think people can sort of get, but yeah, there's a tipping point, but I don't think they're at it.
Do you see him at Essendon next year?
Well, I'm like all of us. I wouldn't be surprised if he's not.
Yep.
But these guys, the stance that Brad takes, the stance that the board, which he communicated to us, is exactly the position they take right now, under no circumstance. And then some extraordinary circumstance it'd have to be extraordinary to wrench him out of there. For the footy club, I mean, they're going to let him go for nothing. They let him go for something that's overs, maybe.
All right, the dynamic of semi-final weekend, which both of you have lived. You've lived the wave. So this is the Gold Coast wave. They have the breakthrough moment, the adrenaline-charged celebration in the aftermath. And can you parlay that into something immediately or down the track? And yours was 17 to
It was 17, yeah. I mean, you look at the Bulldogs who went all the way, but there's a lot of teams that have hit the next week and hit a hurdle. So we beat, we showed it last week, we beat Port Adelaide after the siren in an overtime game. And the euphoria of that and the spirit of which we played in, and, you know, the backs against the wall, and you know, the whole state was behind us. We had a 5-day break, and then we played, I think we played GWS the next week, who come off a loss, and you know, we just thought we were going to carry this on. We were a bit banged up, a little bit tired, but you know, we thought, oh, we're on here. And how did Gold Coast handle a win like last week? It's probably similar to that feeling where it was the first finals win away from home. They look a lot healthier than we were back then. They look a little bit more dialed in with Dimmer at the helm. Been there, done that. We were sort of riding a bit of a new wave. So everyone's got their own story, but there's definitely how do you keep your feet on the ground conversation, because the next week we went to Giant Stadium and we lost by 70 points. And it was a 5-day break, and it was we'd already fired our shot. So yeah, the euphoria of the win versus the heartbreak of a loss in the first final is pretty big in the second week. It's the biggest story of the week, the loss versus the win.
Yep. The Brisbane side of things, John, is you never know if you're too banged up until you're too banged up. Is the Lachie Neale injury the tipping point?
Well, I guess we'll wait and see. My first thought was beware the beaten up champ.
Yep.
And they've got a great history of digging deep when they need to. If you look at Chris Fagan, he's a very experienced coach. I think that all coaches have got a toolkit, and the longer you're in the game, the more tools you add to your kit. And he'd be reaching into that toolkit this week and using every tool he's got to talk to the players. The senior leadership group up there, the core part of that team, are absolute champions. If you look at that list, it can get the better of you. But I'm sure that Chris this week will be relying heavily on his leaders. And as I said at the start, beware the beaten up champ.
All right, you keep the floor here. So you've lived the Adelaide scenario, minor premiers, and you don't parlay the advantages of that. So it was your experience in 2016 as the minor premier to lose the first week. How do you deal with it? How much do you absorb? How do you avoid it crushing you and making sure that you actually do win the next week?
Yeah, it's really, you come out, and especially if you finish on top and you lose that first week. When we played the Giants in a pretty spiteful game out of the Olympic Stadium, and it was a pretty fierce game, and it was red hot, huge pressure, huge crowd, the local derby, I guess, and it was on for young and old, I guess, on and off the field. And when they had the win, I mean, the first point was to acknowledge, you can see the disappointment of the players. You've got to acknowledge the disappointment and maybe the lost opportunity in that particular game. But you've also got to straight afterwards turn pretty quickly into, but we finished on top for a reason. We deserve to finish on top, and we deserve the next opportunity that's coming our way. We deserve to have the home final again. And you've got to reinforce the fact that you've done the hard work and we've earned the right to get another final. And when you've earned that right, you can pretty quickly switch the switch on the players, and they can start to look at the positives and really embrace the challenge that's ahead. And there's no question that they'll be looking at that this week.
How important was the first taste for them? They looked a bit startled and a bit shocked, I reckon, at times. Whereas you got Collingwood and knew exactly what it took, and they were there at that level. Can that be fixed in the space of 5 to 6 days?
History suggests, you go through a bit of heartache. Not all the time, but a lot of the times you go through a bit of heartache when you've been out of the finals for quite a while, and your first foray back into the finals. And so that bit of heartache certainly was on the back of last week. If you talk at both teams and their finals experience, you can see the extremes of it. They would have learned a lot from that. They get the opportunity now in a sudden death final at home to right those wrongs. And they'll be giving everything they can. Now, whether they can do it this week or it's another year, we'll have to wait and see.
Straight sets is a far bigger risk than it used to be. The change in pattern with the implementation of the pre-finals bye is absolutely startling, isn't it?
Yes, and I know you've mentioned this before, Jared, as well, is the finals, if you look at the top four progression since 2000 to 2015, before the pre-finals bye, it was pretty much determined that 3/4 of the time you go from, you get into the prelim final. Well, the 2016, they introduced the pre-finals bye, and things changed. The dramatic landscape of playing finals football has changed. The top four no longer was the carrot that it once was. And if you look to the grand final, very similar. So things are changing. And there we see that no side outside the top four is home and away has won the premiership there. The two times that actually they've won it, they've obviously rolled us. So we're aware of that. I guess the question that the AFL will be asking, or they should be asking, is the carrot for the top four still there for the marathon that is an AFL season? The benefit of it is, I guess, anyone in the top 8 can win it, and that gives teams like Hawthorn a real opportunity.
It's a good debate. Is the competition more even, or has the bye influenced the result? So I suspect it's a bit of both. But the 16 Bulldogs, they played us in the first final, and they were missing 5 of their best players. And the bye, and it was a tremendous performance. They come over and did a real number on us, but I reckon the 5 players they brought back wouldn't have played hadn't been for the bye. So it's equalled things up a little bit. I think the competition might be the top 8, top 9 is got a bit more competitive as well.
All right, make us smarter. What have you been looking at?
I'm not sure if this is going to make us smart. Gaz, I get the feeling we're going to lose.
Me enormously.
We're going to lose, Gaz, in this one, so I already know what's happening. But we thought there's the 2-minute drill, and we spoke about how Fremantle have been pretty good all year at handling the last few minutes in close games. We thought we'd shine the light a little bit on runners and how important they are. And on the weekend, we all know what happened in this game. And I'll just get you to pause there for a quick sec and set it up for Horse, because this 2-minute drill, the runners get 4 rotations a quarter for 90 seconds, plus every time there's a goal kick, they can come on the ground. But when there's 2 minutes to go, they can't go on the ground unless there's a goal kicked. So I think there's 3 minutes to go here, Horse, and what do Fremantle do in terms of their runner and what they use him for?
Yeah, and as we see here, and we've talked about how well Fremantle have done this previously, you can see Tracy's already back. You can see the runner has come on, the Fremantle runner, and gone to Fredericks. And so they've talked about not only Tracy going back, you've got to be 6-6-6. They actually make a bit of a blue here at the start. They get a warning for this. They don't get quite as organised as what they'd like to, which they then sort of sort out afterwards. But Josh Tracy's back. Fredericks, as the forward, comes around after the centre bounce to a secondary stoppage and gets to be a deep sweeper. So they really, after the bounce, get what they need to, which is they would have been planning. And at these particular moments, you can just see the extra going back from the wing, trying to get Josh Tracy free. You can see Fredericks coming around to be a deep sweeper. And now, as we see here, if we just pause it there for a second, the baton has been passed now to Dimmer in the coach's box. And Simo's going to take you through really what happens from here from a Gold Coast perspective, because at the moment, Freo have got what they want.
So how much was going on then is done during the pre-season, during the week, but obviously on game day. So that was an infringement from Fremantle's point of view. So next year, if that's gone, that's a free kick. Just pause it there for a sec. While that's going on, this is played in fast forward, by the way. They're not running that quick. The Dimmer's going, okay, this is going to happen. We've seen this before. So what's our counter offer? What's the return punch? So they want to equalise this game. The first thing they did was try and set up the forward line a little bit deeper and not make Tracy the spare. So that was the first conversation they would have had. If we let it go now, the runner's gone off the ground and he's already been told, let's get back on there and get Andrew back forward and equalise the game. So we've all seen what happens, but the runner's made the call, not Mac Andrew. He's gone back and equalised, so there's the first counter move you've made. Long story short, they go from this play and he kicks the goal. So what happens next after he kicks the goal is another coaching, the scores are level now. So the runner's got to make a decision about, does Mac Andrew go back or does he stay forward? I reckon he's saying, keep him forward, and set up the other things with the wingers and the half forward. So the runner comes out and you see Mac heading back to defence. He's going, no, mate, we need you forward. Scores a level, does a U-turn, heads back to the forward line. No worries. But now he's going to tell a forward to go to the wing and a wing to go back. So this is where you run the risk of breaking the centre bounce rule. It's not just the one player. There's ripples to everything. So I think Malcheski's the runner there, and I think Dimmer made 4 decisive decisions in the last 3 minutes. And as much as the players know how to execute, you've got to make the call as well. So well done on Justin at the start, but Dimmer's counteracted really well, and in the end they get the win.
I quite enjoyed that more than I thought I would.
Just show the first 10 goals.
Just on that, don't interrupt how important, don't underestimate how important it is to have a Malcheski as the runner or a smart footy person as a runner.
Yeah.
All right. Enjoy your semi-finals.
Boys.
We look forward to next week.
Right.
John Longmire and Adam Simpson, our favourite pairing, making us smarter throughout season 2025. Friday night's the starting point in Adelaide. The Crows and the Hawks, they've played 2 rippers so far this season. One in the cold in Tasmania, and I reckon the one at Adelaide Oval's in the best 3 games of the season. And then to Brisbane, the first Q clash in a final series Saturday night. 2 go on to book their places in preliminary finals, and 2 will have it all end here.
And then back to McCreery, who just loves a run. He runs to 54, props it over the top of the square for Elliott. He might get a chance onto the left. He's a miracle worker, and Jamie Elliott kicks 4. The cream on the cake for Collingwood.
Handballs to Nick Dacos, who handballs back to the raging Bullets McCreery. He's had 1 bounce. Well, geez, run a long way after that 1 bounce. Kicks to full forward. No mark taken, but at the forward, Jamie Elliott. Jamie Elliott ices the cake. They've come to Adelaide's home. They've ransacked it.
He's got a paddock in front of him. Open real estate. McCreery screws it central to Elliott. Cut off by Keane. Couldn't control it. Elliott with the volley to seal a prelim. Collingwood continue to haunt Adelaide. They've owned them for a decade.
This will be the icing on the cake. He goes for another bounce. He'll be loving this. Runs up to attacking 50, over the top, looking for a mark. Good effort there by Mark Keane, but Elliott suckers off the ground. There's the icing on the cake. The Pies will play a home prelim.
We're taking requests tonight, and that's for our special guest this evening, who's a Magpies man. NBA starts October 22 live on ESPN. Jock Landale is going to be part of it with the Grizzlies. Jock, it's great to have you on AFL 360.
Thanks, mate. Thanks for having me.
Collingwood man.
Yep.
Goes back generations.
Generations. Old man, grandfather, all of them before me. Yeah, big fans.
Timing not great. You got here after they won and you leave them before they play.
I know. Well, you know, what can you do? When the club says you got to come back, you say, when do you want me? So that was that.
No room for no wriggle room, no ringing them up saying this is a big deal over here. It's my side in the playoffs.
Look, I tried, and he said, What's that? What's footy? So, I mean, he's a Finnish bloke. He's probably got no idea what the sport is, and that was that.
Go straight to... Did you get the video out? You should have gone straight to the video. I don't know.
I should have, shouldn't I? I mean, I say to my missus all the time, I say, look, we got married recently, we had a kid recently, but this still goes down as the greatest moment in my life.
And no bull dust. You said you walked out, and that was your very first kick.
Walked out. We were about to jump on a plane somewhere. AFL had been kind enough to send me a couple balls, and I said to one of the boys, he's an American fellow, who's one of my coaches, lived in Australia. I said, mate, turn the camera on. Kicked it, went in. I mean, I was like, this never happens to me. So it was one of those moments where I wish that I'd kind of walked off and looked the part, but I was just like, what's going on right now? So yeah.
You've played a bit of footy, clearly, obviously.
Yeah, played a bit at a very poor level, but yeah, I used to have a crack. Yeah, I mean, I would have liked to sit down forward and bag some goals, but they used to say, we've got to put you in the ruck, and that honestly wasn't a good decision on their behalf.
He's chosen wisely, Jerry.
You have. So you're at the Grizzlies. So you've been through the Suns, the Rockets, the Spurs and the Grizzlies. Does this feel like the right landing place for you?
Yeah, it does. Memphis's slogan is grit and grind, and I think that's kind of the way that I've styled my play in the past, from where I've come from, you know, with my family, and then, you know, go over to Serbia and Lithuania and kind of come up that way, which is tough, hard-nosed kind of environment in basketball, and it feels like a bit of a match made in heaven. We've got a European coach, new guy, Tomas, who's very talented with his kind of offensive mind, and then all they're about is just playing tough, hard, and they respect it. It's a bit of a blue-collar system, which I think suits me a lot. Do you have to ward off the sense of is it ever dispiriting, moving from club to club to club, searching for the right circumstance? Yeah. I think Phoenix in particular, there was a big hangover effect where it felt like that was a place where I'd really found a home, and we'd actually bought a home thinking that was it. And I was disheartened after that one, but I think in this time around, I've been ready for change for about a year, and you know, with San Antonio as well, it was just the fit wasn't right. So I think when the fit feels good and you kind of enjoy where you're at, it's harder to kind of just move on. But in this instant, I'm ready for change and I'm excited for it. Is it everything it's cracked up to be, the NBA lifestyle? Like everyone here looks at it from afar and it just looks to be the dream. Is it all of that? Yeah, it's good. They look after you well, and you know, places that I've played have been the polar opposite. So it's kind of the reward for hard work and getting to that league, but at the same time, it's just basketball, and you know, that's as simple as it is. You can make the best out of a bad situation anywhere if you just enjoy the game and kind of focus on that. But I mean, all the private planes and all of that kind of jazz makes the job a lot easier. And, you know, I think that's the perspective I gained kind of playing in Europe and then going into the NBA is you got to appreciate that for what it is. Beautiful wife, India, baby Archie. How old? 9 weeks. How's that going? Unbelievable. I mean, I basically sit back and do nothing while she handles him for the most part. But, yeah, no, it's been nothing short of amazing. And he's got a lot of character already at 9 weeks, and he's aware, and he's sleeping well and eating well. So, I mean, it's been pretty easy from what I can tell. So you're going to be an NBA basketballer or a farmer? He says you've got a few generations of farmers in the family. Yeah, 7 generations. 7? Yeah, we took Archie to the farm actually last weekend, and he was the first of the 7th generation to step foot on the farm. So that was a pretty special moment for me and my old man, yeah. That's awesome. I think we are in awe of the Australians who paved the way in the NBA at the moment. It's been obviously a great day with Josh Giddey getting the $100 million contract at the Bulls. Unbelievable. I mean, I was saying this to someone earlier, for what that kid's been through by 23 years old, all the scrutiny he's faced, to come out on the other side of it and have $100 million to show for it is like a testament to his ability to just kind of put all that crap behind him and focus on the game. And I really felt that that's kind of the guy he was when I played with him for Australia. It was just a guy who just cares about basketball, and I mean, it's nice to see a fella of his pedigree kind of get rewarded for you know what he does and what he's been through.
How far can the Pies go? Can they win it?
I mean, I was talking to my mate earlier today, and I said, look, it's hard for me to keep up with the footy when I'm overseas, but I've been back for 2 weeks and I watch them on TV, so their season's kind of just started in my eyes, and they're doing pretty well so far in the last 2 weeks. So yeah, I reckon they can.
Jock, awesome to have you here.
Great to have you.
Good luck with the Grizzlies.
Cheers,
Good luck.
Thank you.
And, yeah, enjoy the family too.
Thanks, fellas.
Jock
Cheers.
Landale with us on AFL 360. We'll have the picks for you next tomorrow night. A special episode of First Crack Preview as they go deep into these two semi-finals. A Thursday night edition with Kingy and Joey. Dicko runs the show. Time for our points bet update with Bernie Vince. Bernie, welcome.
Thanks, Jared. Round 2 of finals action kicks off Friday night. Adelaide v the Hawks at Adelaide Oval. This one's going to be a cracker. I've got Adelaide bouncing back to win this one. 12-2 at home. They get an 8-day break. No travel, whereas the Hawks get a 6-day break and have to go from Sydney to Melbourne and then off to Adelaide. I think it's too much of an ask. Hawks, however, they're number 2 in the competition for disposals. That's what I found on StatMate. Jarman Impey, how good a form is he in? 20-plus in 9 of his last 10 and 25-plus in 5 of those. I reckon that's great value right there at $2.50. On to the Gabba Saturday night. This one also going to be a cracker. I've also got Brisbane, though, bouncing back off a loss as well to beat the Suns. Suns were very good in Perth, but I reckon they played their grand final last week. Brisbane, number 1 in the competition for disposals of the last 5 weeks if you're playing in the same game, multi-space. You can find all those odds plus a whole heap more on the PointsBet app. Enjoy the footy.
Chances are you're about to lose. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.
September expectation.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time.
It weighs heavy.
Finals footy on Fox.
Especially if you're the minor premier.
What have you got, Adelaide?
Breakout Crows on their highly anticipated finals return.
Walker skipper answers. Bill Thorpe hits it perfectly.
Crashing into a black and white roadblock.
They have been remorseless and relentless.
Forcing them the long around.
Round the mountain.
Same path these Hawks are on.
And the Hawthorn joy is spreading.
Showed us all in Sydney's West.
And it's bye-bye to the Giants.
They aren't here to make up the numbers.
Come on, Joel. Roll again.
Now, how's that saying go? History doesn't repeat, but it often rhymes.
And I just told him after the game he wasn't going anywhere.
Hawthorn back to an Adelaide Oval semi-final, exactly 12 months on from heartbreak.
Give me a call, because I'm on fire.
Sam Mitchell's men have grown since.
Ginnivan, big with the words, big with the actions.
Well, except for Jack Gunston.
Gunston is putting on a show.
He's just getting younger by the week. Doing it all, donning the number made famous by the immortal Chief Jason Dunstan. Spearheading our call alongside Anthony Hudson, Jared Waitley and Gary Lyon.
There's a better feeling than winning finals.
With Adelaide royally on the boundary, Mark Rasciuto and Eddie Betts. Crows and the Hawks, semi-final football. No second chances.
We're ready to go. No tomorrow here.
Right here on Fox Footy.
Can't wait to get back there. All right, the weekend picks thanks to PointsBet, Gaz. What is your Week 2 finals back page headline?
Pack your McLuggage. The Lions are off to the prelim, and I reckon Huey's going to lead the charge. He had a very un-Huey-like performance. Well done to O'Sheen Mullen, did a great job on him, but I don't reckon champs have 2 bad ones in a row. So I think I'm back on the lines with a Hugh McCluggage special. What about you?
All right, I've got straight set strikes again. It's up from 9% to 44%. 5 of the last 8 teams have gone in straight sets. Jeez. Someone will go in straight sets.
It's not good news.
Plot twist?
Merritt spotted in the Wizards hat at Adelaide Oval. I made sure Brad was gone before I put that one in. Couldn't possibly, could he?
No. Annual captain's meeting has now been booked for Sam Mitchell's place. Just saves time.
Just working
Get them all together in one go.
Working his way through all the skippers.
Yeah,
I think both you and I are in a very similar position with our last dollar.
All right.
After last night. We're inspired. I'm just saving it for Dwayne's book. When it comes out, I'm going to be first in the line.
Yeah, I want Dwayne's movie rights.
Oh, yeah.
That's what the real
cost you
money
more than $1.
It might. It might. All right. See you in Adelaide.
Yes. Cannot wait. Absolutely going to be a belter.
We'll live it all with us here on Fox Footy. All right. Let's head to Lauren, shall we, on a big news night.